Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back in to another edition of Astros Recap. Pretty terrible news to talk about this week, and before I actually get started, I want to say I'm going to try to control myself as best as I possibly can, because I could go on a rant and start yelling and screaming with how bad the Astros have played this week, or I can just try to calm myself down and talk about this. But I might go off on a rant, and I just wanted to give you a heads up beforehand if that actually ends up happening. So, Astros very terrible this week. I'm very tired tonight. It is 10:37 p.m. Sunday night. Astros do play tomorrow, and I have sort of a lot going on, so tonight was sort of the night to sit down and talk to you. I am tired, so hopefully that will sort of control myself if I start, like I said, getting a little crazy here. But pretty bad week. I mean, it got off to a decent start. They obviously lost on Monday to the Rangers. Game they should have won. Very sloppy defensive play, which is uncharacteristically of them. Usually they're pretty solid defensively, but not so much in this game. Correa and Gurriel really messed up a ground ball in extra innings, which the Astros seem to play, a few extra inning games every week now. But they were actually losing the game early on, and Michael Brantley had a big 3-run home run off the right field foul pole to give them the lead. And Presley blew it in the ninth inning, giving up a home run to Elvis Andrus. And then, we sort of unraveled in extra innings, and it was a pretty sloppy game. And on top of that, nobody hate losing to more than the Rangers, probably, of all teams. Them and the Yankees are the two teams I probably hate losing to more than anybody else. But yeah, that was a pretty sloppy game, but they did bounce back and won the next two, so won the series, and that was nice, at least to bounce back, get those two wins. Of course, the A's were not really playing at all the first Monday through Thursday because they were still going through the coronavirus sort of additional testing, quarantining type thing. So we had a few opportunities to gain some games there, which I guess we gained a half a game or a full game. But again, they're going to have to make up those games anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, you roll into had an off day. Well, no, we had the off day Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, afternoon game on Thursday, getaway day, get to LA. And then this is where things just went completely terrible for the Astros. I'll bring up a lot of it. I didn't really just talk about the Rangers series. I guess I can briefly go through it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I got a lot to get off my chest in terms of the weekend for the Astros here. So, as my phone often does, has a mind of its own, doesn't like to load, so this might take a few seconds here. Finally got my at-bat up. But like I said, sloppy play on Tuesday, losing 6-5, that big 3-run home run in the 7th by Brantley. But Presley blowing the save, and then them giving up 2 in the 10th. To make it 6-4, helped by, of course, the error by Carlos Correa, I believe. But Valdez pitched this game. He went 7 innings. He's been worked pretty heavily when it comes to his pitch count, at least. I think he threw, let's see here. Well, he threw 94 pitches, so he stayed under 100, but 7 innings, 3 earned runs. He struck out 8, walked 3. Paredes came in. He actually got a hold. He actually didn't look that great. He was helped by a ground ball double play, if I remember that correctly, to get out of the inning, to get the hold. That was after Brantley hit the home run to take the lead. Now Presley blows the save, giving up the home run to Elvis Andrus, which I just mentioned. Blake Taylor gets the loss here, going 2/3 of an inning. Gave up 2 runs, but neither of them were earned. So one of those runs was the runner on second that starts your extra innings. And if that run does come across, it's already an unearned run to begin with, whether you give up a hit or anything, because it's sort of not fair to credit a reliever with an earned run when they put your free runner there at second base to start the inning. But yeah, there was a big error. Scrub actually finished off that inning, getting an out to just get it to the bottom half. Us down 2. We did score a run, but we did lose, and that was a pretty sloppy game to say the least. They had 3 errors altogether in this game, which is very, like I said, uncharacteristically of the Astros. I don't even know if that's a word. Uncharacteristically, is that a word? Somebody can look that up and leave that in the comment section below. I'd really enjoy to hear the explanation if that's an actual word. But I just need to stop saying it. But anyway, so yes, they lose the game. Move on. Like I said, bounce back, win the 2 games. So it's nice, good. 2-1 in Wednesday's game. They scored 2 in the first, and that actually held up. Christian Javier was very good in this game. He bounced back because he had a few subpar starts. But he went 6 2/3, only gave up 2 hits, an earned run, struck out only 3, walked 2. Brooks Raley got an out, struck out a batter. Paredes had a scoreless inning. And then Presley bounced back, got the save, got 2 strikeouts in that 9th inning to bounce back 2-1. Offense not really doing that well, but did enough, I guess. And then the offense does break out on Thursday. They score 8 runs. 4 in the first, got off to a great start. And Zach Greinke got the win. Wasn't great, okay. Average start, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Struck out 9, only walked 1. ERA now under 3 at 2.91. Cy Snead gave up an earned run in his inning in 2/3, but got the hold. Cionel Perez recorded an out, but gave up a walk and a hit, so he wasn't that great. And then Blake Taylor ends the game in the 9th. They were up big, 8-4 at this point. So, but yeah, good to get the series win there. So we'll stop with that Texas Rangers series and now transition to the series against the Angels, who are one of the worst teams in baseball. Unexpectedly, I would say, because they were supposed to be at least somewhat decent this year with Rendon and Shohei Ohtani being healthy, possibly pitching, but I think that he's been pulled off. I haven't heard news about Ohtani, to be honest with you. I know that he first start he didn't record an out and he gave up 6 runs and was walking hitters, but he didn't pitch in the series, and we played them 4 times. I don't know what they're doing necessarily with him. He was in the lineup, I think, every single game, so. But I don't even think they're pitching him right now. So, talk to an Angels fan about that. But I don't know. I have not read up on Ohtani's status as a pitcher, but I haven't heard anything about him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say there. But enough on that. So you go into get a 4-game set in 3 days here because you're going to play Friday. Doubleheader on Saturday, and then the game today. Obviously, they lose all 4. Most of the blame here is going to go to the bullpen, who's absolutely dreadful, putrid pitching out of the bullpen. They were just awful. Offense did their part, giving the Astros, giving the pitchers, I should say, multiple leads of not just 1 run. It was a 2-run, 3-run, 4-run, and the bullpen completely imploded and could not get the job done time and time again. Dusty Baker does deserve a little credit for putting people in bad situations. I'll get to that in a little bit, but we'll just start with Friday here. The Astros get off. They were leading every one of these games, and it really felt like they were going to win. At least 2 of 4, 3 of 4. They really should have won all 4. If it wasn't for their terrible bullpen pitching. But in Friday's game, they were down early, I believe. I just got a notification there. And another one. Let me just get through these here. Alright. Should be better. That was weird that all popped up there at once. But They were down early in this game. They did put up 2 in the fourth, but they were down 3 going into the ninth. And by some miracle, they actually... Well, the offense isn't the issue here. So the offense ties it in the ninth. There was a big... God, it's a stupid thing. God, I hate this phone. Hate this phone so much. So they were down 5-2 in the ninth. I'm trying to get to the summary to see how we scored these runs here. But I don't even know if this is Friday's game. So let me just scroll through to see. Okay, this is Friday's game. Down 5-2 in the ninth inning. They were actually down 4-1. Yeah, 5-2. And then the offense finally came to life as we got runners on second and third. Maldonado, I think, walked. Springer hit a double. Pass ball scored Maldonado to make it 5-3. Josh Reddick had an RBI ground out. And then Kyle Tucker had a huge 2-strike, 2-out double, which brought in Kyle Tucker from second to tie the game. So Kyle Tucker's still doing his thing. He's been very good for him. Then you get to extra innings. You know, they got through the bottom half of the ninth there as Ryan Presley, I think, pitched that inning. I could be wrong. By the way, just before I actually get into this, McCullers pitched this game. He really set the tone for the entire series because your pitching was going to be tough with the doubleheader to begin with. But when you're playing 4 games in 3 days and your starter in game 1 can't get an out, Lance McCullers, golly, I could just tear into him right now because he's 2 different pitchers. Because he doesn't know how to pitch on the road. He cannot pitch on the road. In fact, if I was Dusty Baker, I would eliminate Lance McCullers from ever pitching on the road again because he can't do it. By the way, he's now ended up on the IL. Surprise, surprise, but that's where he lives half his career is on the IL, injured list, DL, what it used to be called. Whatever, but Lance McCullers, I don't even... He's not worth talking... Oh my God, Lance McCullers, dude, you cannot. You are not a major league pitcher if you cannot pitch on the road, and there's no fans at all. You just, is there something inside your brain where if you're not pitching at Minute Maid Park that you just? It's amazing to me how bad his home and road splits are so horrendously different. It's unfathomable. It's just. I can't. I just. I'm fed up with Lance McCullers because this is a recurring theme. Every single year. Every single year, he stinks on the road. He's like an ace at home, and then he goes in the DL or the IL, what it's called now. And with the weird, coronavirus 60-game season, this is about right. He's usually on the IL around this time every single year, hoping after the Tommy John surgery that maybe he'd be a little bit better, but no, now he's back on the IL. Apparently he's got dead arm or whatever he wants to call it. But yeah, he had some issue with his hand. I don't know what it is, but he's on the IL, and even if he comes back, I mean, like I said, Dusty Baker shouldn't pitch him on the road because it's just, I can't get over Lance McCullers. And to start the series, when you needed some length from somebody to sort of get you off to a good start and sort of be able to sort of maneuver your bullpen in a way where you could get through the series and actually win a few games. But Lance McCullers just basically started this off. So no outs, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 3 hitters, gave up a home run to Mike Trout, who they couldn't get out the entire series. Mike Trout just was unbelievable. I mean, he was on base, it seemed like every single at bat. But a new guy they called up, see if I can get the first name here. I have to click on this, and of course my phone has to load. Luis Garcia, never heard of before, came in. He actually pitched 4 1/3 to eat up some innings, and he only gave up 1 earned run, walked 3, struck out 2. Cianel Perez got an inning in the third inning. Andre Scrub pitched 2 1/3. Presley. But yeah, McCullers really screwed this game up from the start, and the Astros actually got this to extra innings. And like they do in extra innings, they have trouble with a free runner on second to ever get that runner home. They were throwing some, I know Jeff Blum and Todd Callis were throwing us some stats. The Astros' average in extra innings is just, it's stupidly bad. It's terrible. Yeah. This is going to be hard to talk about, but they don't score in the 10th, 11th, and obviously the Angels end up scoring and they end up winning. So you go into Saturday here. Game 1 was the tougher of the two. They were both pretty bad. But in Game 1, the Astros were up 4-1. Couldn't hold that. They tied it at 4. They're up 6-4. Couldn't hold that. They tied that. Not only they also got the lead. Angels were leading 7-6. Or 7 to... Yeah, 7 to... God, I don't even know what to say here. Going into the 7th, they were leading this game 7-6. Yes, 7-6. Okay, yes. Astros scored 3 times. So for the second straight night in the 9th inning, they come through, and not only do they tie the game this time, but they take the lead, and they give you a run of insurance. So it's a 9-7 game. Let's see, I want to see our 9th inning scores here. But Brantley had an RBI single, and Maldonado had a two-run single as well. So we were up 9-7. Blake Taylor takes over in the 9th, which usually I'm okay with, but in this particular game he was not very good. He actually got out to end the 8th inning, so they brought him back out, but he allowed a single and he walked the left-handed hitter. As a left-handed pitcher, if you have one job, it's to get the lefties out, and when you walk them, that's worse than giving up a hit to a lefty, because that means you can't throw strikes. But Blake Taylor really pissed me off in this game, so they go out and they bring in Enoli Paredes, who, hard to project what he's going to do, because he can come out and, he throws mid to upper 90s and can strike hitters out, or he can struggle and have trouble finding the strike zone and fall behind hitters, and then he has to throw strikes, and they get hit hard. But he blows it. Blake Taylor deserves a lot of blame for this inning because he really set it up for failure for Enoli Paredes, but I know Justin Upton had a big 2-run as my phone's now freaking out. I'm not going to be able to do this here. But Paredes gave up 2 hits, an earned run, struck out a guy with the bases loaded, but a 2-run double really capped off the win there for them in Game 1. Game they should have won. I won't say they should have won Friday's game because they just tied it, but they had the lead in this game, and they let it get away. Game 2, same story. Multiple. They were up 4-0 at one point, I believe. 4-1. Up 4-1, 6-4. I gotta go back here in this game. But they were up so many times in this doubleheader yesterday. For them to lose both was just gut-wrenching. I hate this stupid thing. Every single time I try to pull up a box score, this stupid video has to play. But up 4-1, 6-4, and to blow both those leads. Up 4-1, 6-4, and 9-7. And to blow all those leads and lose by a run is just unexcusable by our bullpen. Most to blame there. Cy Snead again gave up a run. He's backed himself. Chris Davinsky's back, unfortunately. He's terrible. Because he came in. So Belak gets the start in the first game here, just to go back to the pitching real quick. On 10 days rest, because they skipped the start with him because we had all those off days the previous week. But Belak comes in. He picks up where he's left off his last two starts, being as bad as you possibly could be. He's lost all confidence whatsoever. Belak is... And now that Urquidy is back, he actually pitched the second game here. But now that Urquidy's back, Belak will probably find himself either in the bullpen or back to the alternate training site in Corpus Christi because he can't figure it out. By the way, Brad Peacock is also back, so you really don't need that long relief that Belak would maybe be able to give you in the bullpen. But 7 hits, 4 runs, they were all earned. He actually struck out 5 hitters, didn't walk a guy, but gave up 2 home runs and didn't get you out of the 4th inning. So Davinsky, of all people, comes in. He gives up 2 earned runs of his own in an inning and 2/3. Snead comes in, gives up an earned run himself. And then Blake Taylor and Paredes, which I just mentioned, also blew the game. So the bullpen is just, along with Belak, are just absolutely terrible. The fact that you still actually run Davinsky out there, you're trying to give people a fair chance here, especially going into this year. Obviously, Biagini was a complete letdown last year. Davinsky's been a letdown the last 2-3 years. But I've tried to sort of, new season, give them sort of a chance. But they're doing exactly what they did last year. There's no change. Davinsky and Biagini, you're better just playing without them and leaving 2 empty roster spots. That's how bad they are. So yeah, Biagini's finally been sent back down, which thank you God for that, because he was just been absolutely terrible. Should have never traded for Biagini in the first place. Thought he'd be okay coming over, but was not. Aaron Sanchez fell off, wasn't very good. He was also part of that deal, but Biagini, he's like Hector Rondon. Only difference is they have the guts to send Biagini down and never had the guts with A.J. Hinch and his gutless self to send Hector Rondon down after the numerous times he choked a bunch of games away. But Biagini should no longer be a story on this team, and I shouldn't have to bring him up for the rest of the year because there's no reason he should pitch. Davinsky's in that same category. He should be sent back down. I don't care who you bring up, but nobody can be worse than those 2 guys. I will say that, and I will stand by that. So there's my little rant there. But Snead's sort of in the same category. He can't get big outs in big games. It's been proven. Dusty Baker had sort of a long leash on him. It got him a few outings where he did okay and sort of no stress, low stress situations. But then you put him into some tight games and he's back to exactly who he was. So Snead's in the same category. Blake Taylor, who's been pretty good this year, starting to slip up a little bit. So ERA up to 2.12. And Paredes, it's hard to project, know what you're going to get from him because, I mean, he can blow hitters away, I feel like, at some instances, but he can also fall behind and be forced to throw pitches right down the middle that get hit hard. So it's hard to really... I think at this point the only people you can trust is Andre Scrub. And he himself never makes things easy because he walks a lot of hitters. He can strike out guys. He's got a very low ERA. But Andre Scrub right now is like the only guy that I would trust. And then you're going to have to ride or die with Presley in the 9th. I know he hasn't been great, but you have to live with Presley pitching in the 9th inning. It's just, you know. But you lose that game having 3 runs, 3 different leads of multiple runs, and you let that slip away. And then the night game was actually very similar. The Astros get off to a 4-0 lead. George Springer hits his first leadoff home run of the season. That was long overdue, but he finally got that. Josh Reddick hit a 3-run home run, so you're up 4-0 early, and then here come the Angels. Pujols RBI, single, Franklin Barreto RBI, ground out, Pujols another RBI single. George Springer, so the Astros actually were able to tack on one. He hit his second home run of the game to make it 6-4 Astros. And then Rendon. Rendon here in the top half of the 9th as the Astros played as the home team because this was the makeup game here. But Urquidy got the start here and Peacock came in after him. And I'm not going to tear these people to pieces because these were the first games, but they weren't very good themselves. Urquidy on a pitch count knew he wasn't going to give us a lot of length here, but he went 3 2/3, gave up 200 runs, struck out 2, walked 3, and then Peacock, his first outing, gave up 200 runs, but Humberto Castellanos, who came in the 6th inning, struck out the side, so why not bring him back out for the 9th? I don't get why. I mean, I could see you bringing him back out, but he imploded and gave up the 3-run home run to Rendon, which gave them the lead, then 7-6, and they closed it out in the bottom half of the 7th. But Castellanos was only brought up initially because of the doubleheader. You're allowed to add 1 to your roster, so that's kind of why he was pitching there. But I feel like Dusty is really babying some of our better relievers. I would rather see them blow leads knowing that you put your best out there than to see these people, because these people continue. Castellanos was never really any good the first time he was up here. He was rightfully sent down, but he comes back up and he blows this game. And just like the first game, you blow the lead. They were up 4-0. They were up 6-4. The entire game, basically, until Rendon hit the 3-run home run in the top half of the 9th, and we weren't able to score to extend the game in the 7th. But that was a doubleheader. That was one of the worst days of Astros baseball I can remember in a long time. I remember sitting on the couch last night and just thinking to myself, well, that sucked. Both games. It's one thing to lose games, but to lose them late in the game when you feel like you have a lead and you have a good chance to win, as my video here sort of screws up there. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But to lose games the way they did, both those games, that's just gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. And the bullpen, Bielak a big reason in the first game. I'll blame Castellanos in the second game. You can put some blame to Peacock and Urquidy, although, like I said, I'm not going to tear them down yet until they screw up a few more times. We'll wait and see. But it is good to have them back, I guess. Didn't really show us a reason why yet, but we need pitching, and Urquidy was a guy we were waiting on for a long time. But anyway, so now you're rolling today, looking to salvage a game, hopefully. And they come out again, and they get a lead early. So this is the same story. So they score 2 in the first. They're up 3-0, and they blow it. Surprise, surprise, but they're down 4-3 after 3 innings, just like that. So, so I look through this real quickly. But Tucker hits a 2-run home run. Diaz hits a solo shot, so you're up 3-0. But Taylor Ward has an RBI single. Rendon hits a 2-1 shot. Whoever decided to add these ads and videos is stupid, but Rendon hits another 2-run shot to tie it. Walsh, RBI ground out. That's Jared Walsh of the of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Gives them the lead with his sacrifice fly. We do tie it. Well, the Angels actually score another run on a Franklin Barreto RBI single. He also got hurt in this game, got taken out when he tried to steal a bag. But Correa hit a home run to get us a run closer, and Toro doubled in the tying run. You're going to have to excuse me for all that noise, but these stupid things. Jared Walsh gives the Angels a lead with an RBI single. They walk in a run. Stupid bullpen. And then Justin Upton hits a single to add 2 more runs, and we lose 9-5. But to be up 3-0 in this game and to blow it again. And here we go to the ugly box score, the pitching here. Framber Valdez did give us 7 innings. His line looks a lot worse than he actually pitched, because he came in, and I think 3 of the inherited runners ends up being credited with 8 earned runs, giving him 11 hits walking 2, striking out 2. They had to really leave him out there to ride or die with all the overtaxed arms in the bullpen. But yeah, Davinsky came in and walked in Chris Davinsky, God damn it, he just pisses me off almost as much as Joe Biagini. They're the same person. Davinsky and Biagini are the same guy, but he walks 2 hitters out of the bullpen and gives up a run, a hit, to add to 2 walks, and then Brooks Raley bailed him out and got through the rest of that inning. But Davinsky is Biagini. They're the same guy. They both need to be sent down, and we should never see from them either. I didn't have faith in them going into the season. Like I said, was going to try to be fair, but they've proved, especially they both went on the IL. And at the time I was like, okay, doesn't really bother me much because they're not helping the team. They only hurt it. Hopefully going on the IL is good for them to sort of clear their mind, fresh start when they come back. But they both come back and immediately pick right off where they pick up right where they left off, giving up runs, walking hitters, and just being terrible bullpen pitchers. They both are. So my rage is going to start with them 2 never pitching in an Astros uniform ever again. Chris Davinsky and Joe Biagini, I hate them both. Okay? I'll say that. Castellanos is only here because we need an arm. He'll be back down. In fact, he's probably already back down. They did send down CNL Perez. I think they brought him back up when Lance McCullers, who I could go on a rant about him again, but Lance McCullers is on the IL like he is every year and doesn't know how to pitch for his life out on the road. But CNL Perez is back with the team. He hasn't been terrible. I mean, compared to the other bullpen pitchers, he's probably been one of our better guys. So he's here. But I feel like Dusty really refused to use some of the, Andre Scrub, even though he pitched 2 1/3 innings back on Friday, I would have used him maybe today in a tie game. Maybe I used Presley. I just felt like he was reluctant to use some of the guys. Now, granted, the bullpen is taxed. I understand that, okay? But desperate for a win today, but to get swept by the Angels, who were 12 games under 500 going into the series, the Astros have no reason to believe they'll do anything in the playoffs, and they'll make it. They'll make it because Rob Manfred decides to put 16 teams in the playoffs this year, which is stupid to me because you're turning this into the basketball playoffs, which take 2 to 3 months to get through. But you're gonna roll in playoffs, and they'll probably lose 2 games in the first round. The season will be over. If this season ends, just thank God the season's over, and hopefully we can get back to some normal baseball next year. Because this entire season, I wasn't even happy that it actually started. I mean, it's Astros baseball, and I'm gonna watch it, but I mean, think about it. 60 games isn't worth playing. That's how I felt. It wasn't enough. When the virus started, and I was starting these videos a long time ago, back in March, when this virus started, or early April when I talked to you, I said 100 games would be okay. If they played 80, 82, get half the season, okay. But anything less than that, don't even. It's not even worth trying. But they get 60 games, and this whole season just is weird with all the injuries and everything that's taken place. The Astros are 21-19, so they're still in second place. I think they're 3.5 back of Oakland. They don't have a day off to sort of regroup and try to get things sorted out here. They have 5 games here in 4 days against Oakland, which is huge. So the Astros, they gotta. I mean, they're in Oakland right now, probably at their hotel, probably sleeping or getting ready to go to bed. But they got a doubleheader coming up here, and 5 games that are going to be humongous against the A's coming up. This road trip, which has gotten off to an 0-4 start, they have 7 more games because they got 2 with the Dodgers on Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, they'll play 5 games in 4 days starting next week, and then they'll have an off day Friday, weird off day, and then play 2 with the Dodgers before they come back home. But looking at next week, you need to win at least 3 of 5 isn't going to win them the division. 4 or 5 would give them a chance, but I don't think 3 of 5 is going to be enough. And you have to at least split with the Dodgers. Again, the Astros could play basically 500 baseball and get into the playoffs, but they're not going to do anything with the bullpen they got now. No word on Verlander. I can almost count him out for the rest of the year. Without Verlander, I mean, really doesn't matter with all the other injuries. Without Verlander, they're not doing anything in the playoffs, so I won't be expecting anything, obviously. I mean, Greinke's probably your best pitcher. Fromber's struggled a little bit of late. Bielak is basically a waste of time at this point. Told you how I feel about Davinsky, Biagini. They'll both shouldn't see them ever pitch again, really. McCullers is on the IL, so if he comes back, he should strictly pitch at home and nowhere else but Minute Maid Park. Altuve was placed on the DL. He had a awkward slide in the Rangers series going into third, so he's on the IL. Surprise, surprise. Brantley's back. Springer's back. Bregman's still out there on the IL as well. Osuna out for the year, of course. So injuries galore, and your bullpen pitchers are pretty bad. Pretty bad, to say the least. And I know I've gone long here, and I sort of woke myself up with the rant, which was to be expected. So I apologize, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. So leave those in the comment section below. For the Astros this coming week, like I said, 3 of 5 won't be enough to win the division. That would be acceptable. And then you have to at least split with the Dodgers. So whatever that comes out to, it's at 4 and 3 or whatever. I'd love for them to win 4 or 5, but I really have no faith in the bullpen. Offense has been good. Even with Altuve out, even with Bregman out, the offense has pulled their weight. Even Toro and Mayfield had a few hits today at least. But I'm pretty much done with Toro. He's terrible. And we know what Mayfield is. But you have to play these guys. Diaz is back. He's hit 2 home runs, so it's good to have Diaz back in the lineup. I trust him. But yeah, I mean, you have Correa at short, but you have like Toro, Mayfield in the infield. Kyle Tucker's been the best hitter, I think. Brantley's still doing his thing. He's been pretty good. Miles Straw, who's filled in because we've had, Springer was out a few days. Brantley, of course, was on the IL. We know how I feel about Reddick. He's Josh Reddick. He's just, yeah. He's dead weight in the lineup with a contract that nobody wants. Astros got a lot of issues, a lot of issues, a lot of things they need to figure it out, and it needs to happen in about less than 24 hours, because they'll be out there playing the Oakland A's in a very, very big series coming up. So anyway, I'll wrap things up there. I'll talk to you next Sunday or Monday, depending on when is best, which we'll find out as we get closer to that date. But love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below, so please feel free to take a few minutes. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I missed. Tell me how I did. But like the video, share it with your friends, all that good stuff there is to do on YouTube. And I'll talk to you either next Sunday or Monday, and we will see you then.